welcome back to the GSTL. And FOU having that last game was pretty interesting. I mean, how do you feel like? Basically, Lenok just did a crazy all-in, and it didn't work, and then he just got smacked down afterwards. He tried to do some fun muta play, tried to come over and stop the third base, but Symbol was just ready at every turn. There was like, he was the wall, and Lenok was not breaking the wall.
Yeah, Symbol did just a really good job of defending and ran with the lead after that. So he brings his team in the lead, and now it's kind of up to Lucky to change that, since Supernova, if he takes it here, would bring it up to a 3-1 for Zubu. Problematic for him, of course, is that Supernova is definitely the player with a lot more success in the recent past, but they played each other in the first season of the GSTL, and back then Lucky was able to win his match against Supernova. So he showed us already that he can defeat his opponent, but it's definitely not going to be easy for him at all. Lucky's only at a 46% win ratio, and Supernova finds himself at 68% versus Zerg. So pretty difficult for him actually to, for Lucky that is, to win that game, and it's going to be such a crucial one. The match right afterwards is going to be the PvP that we've been talking about. Tacita has to meet Patience, and Tacita, I mean, against Patience he might be able to pull it off, but so far in the GSTL he's not really successful. He's like one of the worst win ratios in the GSTL history.
Yeah, things are looking really dire for FOU, because if Supernova takes this game, then it's all down to a PvP, where Tastar in general is just one of the worst players in GSTL history, but also it's PvP, and you never want to be like, oh my god, it's down to a PvP, I hope we win this PvP with Tastar, who's probably our worst player. So this is a really, really tense game, and I really feel like FOU is dependent on Lucky right now. He has to win this game, or their chances are so slim to actually take the team league. So Supernova's smiling, he looks happy, he looks ready, and I think for him this is probably just, in his mind, going to be an easy, straightforward win. Core Knight's also a pretty good map for Terran versus Zerg.
He's definitely in a good position right now, and Symbol brought them to this particular spot. So for Supernova, everything is going well so far, but Lucky won in the GSTL Season 1, and that's something that Supernova definitely remembers. If you're losing against an opponent where you're supposed to win, and especially in the team league where a team counts on you and you lose that game, that sticks with you for quite some time. Keep in mind that actually if this game goes in favor of Lucky and we have the tie, we could end up with another tie, since the last game, before we go into a potential ace match, would be the match between JKS and Ragnarok. But for now, we're going to Zerg versus Terran. We have Lucky going up against Supernova here at the GSTL Season 2 Colombo. And starting to the top with a 6 pool of all things is the Zerg player for Team 4U.
I actually think we're going to have a regame because he's not using his keyboard.
Yeah, that is not an intended 6 pool.
So, as you can see, his APM is 0 currently.
Yeah, and he's at 265, and unless he wants to play a really cheeky 6 pool, this is definitely a problem.
This looks like a keyboard malfunction, which is pretty odd.
I was surprised there for a second. I mean, 6 pool against Terran, we do not see that too often anymore.
His computer may also just have like frozen, because I would say it's probably not a keyboard issue, because in order to start the game both players have to say ready, so in order to do that he would have had to use his keyboard and type ready. So yeah, his mouse and his keyboard, it looks like neither are responding, which would explain the 0 APM. So
yeah, there was absolutely nothing.
That's really weird. It's almost like there's a problem with the USB ports or something. And he doesn't seem to know why, because he's like fiddling with the cord. This is very tense. Like, this is a really, really important match for FOU. Like, you really need to take this win.
Wow, Zubukosh looks really annoyed right now.
He's like,
thankfully that happened right at the beginning of the game. Think about what would be going on if that happens like in the fight.
Yeah, that's actually like a very, very good point. It seems to not be resolved yet, actually, in fact.
Yeah, the thing is that the game is also still on. Like, all the observers are still in the game, so
I can't read what's happening over there.
No way we're going to just restart the game,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a remake of the room for sure. It's got to be.
The game is being remade. Supernova is, of course, informed of the decision. But yeah, for a second I was actually thinking about if they want to just resume the game. I was like, there is no way that's going to happen.
No way.
You're forced into such a weird build if that's going on. Throws everything off.
No, I mean, basically you're forced into a loss if that happens. Like, there's no way you can actually make a delayed 6 pool work.
That kind of means that FX Open or FOU is probably getting a warning, and as far as I know, they already have one.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happens with that because it might actually have been an issue with the computer itself and not his keyboard. We don't know, and I guess probably somebody else does, and they might tell us later. But I don't think he's going to get a warning because if he was able to type in the chat.
Will. Because, like, if you think about it, apparently he could still do something. So it's not like the computer crashed. He just wanted to show, hey, my keyboard doesn't work, and all the peripheral equipment is responsibility of the team. So I would be surprised if he doesn't get a warning.
Yeah, I mean, if the computer didn't freeze or anything like that, then yeah, I agree with you. It's weird though if that suddenly happened. That would be crazy, and that would be really unfortunate for them because if it comes down to the wire. There's any ties or anything like that at the end of the season because FOYU's in such a really dire situation right now. Then it might actually cause them to lose just because of warnings alone.
Yeah, could definitely be the case. I mean, we're going to get an update a little bit later on, but for now, of course, the game is going to be restarted, so we will jump into that match once again.
Yeah, I think they're just confirming to make sure his stuff's actually working this time, at least. It started out working in the lobby last game.
They're already in the lobby, and the players just joined, so we have both of them already there, and also the rest of the observers, so the game should start in just a few seconds. But yeah, it was quite funny actually to see him just go up in minerals, and we're like, oh my god, is he really starting with the 6-pull here?
Yeah,
that would have been
crazy.
So ballsy. I think the last player that I've actually seen starting with the 6-pull was Lucira in one of his matches, when we casted at least, that is.
Yeah, in one of his up and down matches, or like 6th place matches. Australia loves Korea. Liam, Rhett, Jeremy, high column.
We should recommend that people from Australia always write where exactly they are from.
Yeah.
That's very important if you're a Sydney person or a Melbourne
Australia's
person.
kind of a big island.
Well, yeah, kind of. It's a continent.
It's kind of big. There's a lot of places it could be.
We had people from Perth here as well, and that's actually really interesting because usually you only meet people from the East Coast. So West Coast Australians, a bit of a rare breed at least when it comes to people traveling to Australia. So.
Yeah. Well, that was definitely... you were talking about the 6-pull, like just thinking about past 6-pulls we've had, like the.
Okay, you made a leap here, and I didn't.
Yeah, sorry, you're talking about the 6-pull, and I'm just trying to think of other 6-pulls that we've seen, like the past few ones. We saw Marine King hold a 6-pull. I can't remember against whom for the life of me, but we saw
Lucero was immediately shut down because we had a command center on the high ground that closed the wall.
Yeah,
so that didn't work at all.
6-pull is just not really a good build anymore, generally speaking.
I'm actually thinking if that was against... No, I don't think it was... I think it was against Yoda.
I think it was against Maru, actually.
Maru, Yoda?
If I don't remember... If I'm not remembering
was quite
wrong.
some time ago. Like, 6-pull is not really... 6-pulling is not a really good strategy. It's much better than one of those 10-pulls, on the other hand. Like, I hate when I see that build. Like, usually you always run into a wall and you can't really accomplish a whole lot. It's a little bit meta-dependent, but yeah. Lucky also not a player that I would think goes into such a strategy. He's usually the guy who just tries to play as... Don't really want to call it standard, but as mid and late game oriented as possible. We saw him sometimes with pushes in the beta of Heart of the Swarm in the preseason that we had for the GSTL, where he was trying to experiment a little bit with the new burrow timings that we had back there, and that was actually really interesting to watch. But besides against Terran,
and
most
Wings
of the
Liberty,
time,
he basically in Wings of Liberty and against Terran, like he would play games on Antigua, for example, Lennox style, where he'd go hive on 3 bases and get Brewlers out and take a 4th, like Lennox was doing. You know, adapting his style in such a way for the late game, not so much for being aggressive.
Lucky was actually one of those guys who always was a little bit too cautious and waited too long to actually engage, and was not really... He wasn't really the one to take the initiative and being like, okay, I want to take this fight right now. No. He was waiting a little bit too long and didn't take all the chances that he had. That's why he oftentimes ended up giving his opponent a little bit more time to just recuperate and then build up a huge army and win in the end. So Lucky sometimes missing those opportunities. It's actually something that especially Linok was talking about, that Shoya was talking about a little bit, that he's at times not aggressive enough.
Yeah.
But in this, especially against a player like Supernova, I would expect him to play for the mid-late game. Would be very surprised if he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think...
Well, I'm pretty sure we have both of them in the lobby right now. They are already in there, so I'm not quite sure what they are talking about.
I actually thought there might be still an issue because we haven't started yet. But to be honest, I do not know. I could only guess that he has still an issue.
They just started the game. Okay. So the countdown has already started. Both players were in the lobby for quite some time. I guess that he had to just change his hotkeys again or do whatever. But whatever it was, the game is now underway, and we're going to jump into the game in just a few seconds. I guess we're going to get an update later on if he will receive a warning for that, or if it was a problem with the computer that was not his fault. So that's probably something that production is going to update us a little bit later. But for now, let's focus on the game itself. of course, not with a 6-pull here at the bottom of the map. We have the For You player. Yes.
Lucky For You.
Yep, making drones. Looking a little bit peeved, actually. Always when your equipment goes wrong, that can be very annoying.
At least it was at the beginning of the game, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Starting to the top of Polar Knight, the Terran player for Team Azubu.
Azubu Supernova.
The scariest thing is when your equipment is actually like not able to be fixed and you have to use someone else's equipment. That happens from time to time. I was a fencer in high school, and if during the blade test, like weights or something went wrong and it could not be fixed, I had to like run across the stadium to find somebody else's blade and then ask them nicely, "Can I use your blade? Because I broke my last one, and I promise I won't break yours, but you know, just trust me." So it's always your gear too. You know, you're familiar with your keyboard. So it can affect you mentally, but I'm sure that, like you said, because the game nothing actually happened, he's not going to be going, "Wow, I could have done this in the game, but then my keyboard messed up." He's probably just calmly going forward here.
No, a Terran player here on the picture. Now we switch to the Zerg player, which is fine as well. The Terran player, of course, the favorite, and he's definitely the one who's making the bigger waves these days, especially in the Premier League, of course, in Korea. But just to put that into numbers, Supernova has played 25 maps offline against Zerg, and he won 17 of them. So he's 17-8, and he has therefore a 68% win ratio. Just recently taking down like Queen's Solki, for example. He took him out with a 2-1. He was able to take down opponents like Weenok and Kangho. And then when you look at Lucky, on the other hand, you have him with a lot less games played, only 12 in total. And he lost 7 of those. So leaves him with just 46% win ratio. So he's even below 50% in this matchup. Recently lost to Innovation, there's no shame in that. But against Supernova, he was able to win back in July. That was the best of 1 that they played in the first season of the GSTL. Definitely something that is still in Supernova's mind. He wants to get revenge for that. But Lucky showed us back then, was actually one of the games that we were talking about when the day started today, that Lucky sometimes is just able to take down these big names.
Yeah, he definitely can take a win that nobody expects, and that's one of his strengths. I feel like you talked about this a little bit earlier, Supernova is not going to underestimate him. Just by seeing his name and looking at his stats, he's not going to go, "Oh, I got this easy." But he's definitely going to be thinking, "Okay, yeah, he takes some weird wins sometimes. I really need to study his play and look closely." By the way, we did get the update. There's no warning, so no update on exactly what went wrong, but I'm sure it was probably an issue with the PC itself rather than his gear if there's no warning. Good micro here with the drone, actually not even having to make a spore. He wants to avoid that if possible. He's prepared to do it if need be. Here come the Lings. We actually see the Reaper opening in this matchup, making a little bit of a comeback right now, as it's a really strong opening. It gives you a lot of information about what the Zerg is up to.
It's just so safe. You're not going to be blindsided by any kind of weird moves. And nice micro here also by Lucky, making sure that he doesn't lose any harvesters whatsoever. So units lost 0 right now. Of course, there the Reaper comes in again, and that drone has to be careful. Nice micro by Lucky, really impressive.
Yeah, almost perfect micro here. And the Queen is now out, so the Reaper's going to have to go away. And speaking of Reaper's, Reaper's not actually able to kill his Zerglings in time. The command center is delayed.
Really good job here by Lucky, not losing a single drone to his opponent, and at the same time taking down the SCV, therefore delaying the command center. Another one has to be sent down to the natural. And good job here by the Zerg.
He countered with such an early speed, he could actually put a lot of pressure on. He sees the 3rd command center as well. The bunker is on the way, but he could definitely, if he wants to commit to being aggressive, there's not going to be a wall in time.
For Lucky, this is just great. Like, there is nothing, there's no guesswork for him. He knows. He's absolutely know what's going on. He saw the 3rd command center. He was able to delay the natural a little bit. So everything that happens on the map is no mystery to him. So he can react, and he doesn't have to guess, okay, are you going for a little bit of a fast attack? Do you go for the 3rd command center right away? What exactly do I have to expect here? So really good information for Lucky so far. Supernova, of course, not massively behind or anything at this point, but definitely a bit of an advantage here for Lucky, who also has speed now that helps him with the 3rd base, securing that. And we have actually Supernova with the siege tank, and that's pretty cool. That will help him a lot against 2-base timings, against Roach timings, for example.
He's playing safe because he scouted the gas with his Reaper. He saw how early it was. So for him, the choice to make a siege tank here is really, really smart. On the other hand, it delays some of his tech. He doesn't have Stem, of course, anytime soon. He doesn't even have a tech lab on a barracks. He's getting Starport, and he can switch the reactor, as he's already done, so he's starting double Widow Mines here. Yeah. He can even take a tech lab for Cloak Banshees if he wants to follow up with that.
If you want to play safe, I really like the single siege tank. It helps you so much, especially when Heart of the Swarm came out at first. We had so many roach pushes against Terran, and a lot of Terran players were just trying to work with the Widow Mines, and they're just not enough if the Zerg player has really good unit control. So a lot of Terrans that were trying to go into a fast third command center were dying so fast because they always skipped on that siege tank. As you already said, it puts you a little bit behind in your tech and you're a little bit slower with that, but it gives you so much safety.
Yeah, so much. I mean, insane amount of safety. Even if there's no attack, if a Ling tries to come up and poke, the Ling is like dead instantly. You can't hang around near the front of the base and try to see if there's a move out because the siege tank is going to see you and shoot you instantly down. So a little bit of a Widow Mine drop here. With 4 Widow Mines, it could do some damage. See if it's spotted or not. There is an Overlord nearby to the left.
Yeah, Overlord speed, by the way, being researched once again. Lucky, one of those Zerg players who really favors this upgrade a lot. His own tech into there is also completed, and now he will get all the information in the main base once again. Traps one of the Reapers here, so that definitely reduces the map presence for Supernova.
Yeah.
Trying to chase down the second one as well.
He sees
so
the medevac.
Yeah, the medevac is moving in right now, and let's see how he's going to deal with that.
Well, it was in his vision. Did he see it or not? He's actually a little bit quick to respond, or a little bit slow to respond. He has a Spore Crawler and a Queen here, so that's going to be enough on the other hand.
Funny as it is, he didn't go for a single Overseer. I would like him to get at least one so that he can deal with it immediately if need be. But in the main base, one Spore Crawler is already protecting his mineral line, but there's the Overseer. Just going to be on the safe side. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. That Widow Mine actually going to annoy any Zergling that comes. I like his placement of the Widow Mines just to be safe against any move-outs, to be able to spot them, and also just to annoy.
But really good map awareness by Lucky. He sees everything that's happening, he has everything in position, but as you already said, the positioning with the Widow Mines is really nice. If you just move out with a bunch of Zerglings and then suddenly they are gone, it can be so annoying. Now the Overseer coming into play, the Zerglings immediately taking it out. And the Widow Mine there, no kill just yet, but just think about what happens if a bunch of Zerglings just moves out there and doesn't expect that.
Yeah, that could be nasty. Here comes another Widow Mine drop here, just to clear up the Watchtower. And then, of course, to force detection and perhaps more lost units. So that Zergling should have gotten out of there. He was in the line of duty to the end.
That was a cardboard Zergling that was trying to play with the Widow Mine, but the Widow Mine got a little bit angry.
Yeah, the Widow Mine said no. Spire's done. Gas at a critical amount. He's got about 8 meters he can drop out here as soon as he gets a few more minerals.
You know, Supernova doesn't do a whole lot with those Widow Mines so far. Even the one at the Zalnaga Watchtower has been cleared. He lost a lot of Widow Mines without doing any damage whatsoever. We still have that one Widow Mine that could be a bit of a trap for Lucky later on down the road. But right now, pretty decent moves here by Lucky to make sure that the Widow Mines don't get a lot of damage done.
Yeah, and Lucky's in an insanely good position right now with his tech. And the Baneling speed is also done.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the army right now, and the Baneling's moving out of the main base. Now he sees that those medivacs, and there's the upgrade. Alright, the speed upgrade is done for the Banelings. He loses 1, he loses 2 against 2 Marines. Good trade here for Supernova.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And the drone that has been sent out to take that 4th base is going to find himself up against a lot of Marines. Oh, actually sneaks by. Oh, not quite.
Oh, nearly. As it is, though, Baneling speed, and there's a lot of creep here still. You got to pick up and get out of here, but there are mutas only 3.
Yep.
Had he had a few more, that would have been a disastrous situation for Supernova.
Yeah, the afterburners here giving him the safety, and you know he could have always dropped those Marines once that he's over the cliff there. The Zerglings would have needed quite some time to catch up. An Overlord, pretty cheeky there, right in plain sight, hiding. It's a Ninja Overlord Wolf.
There's the
he just lost his ninja ability.
There's the spot. He saw the camo there.
He snuck in and then suddenly it was just there.
That's a great scan, by the way, on the high ground. That really gives him the idea, can I move up here and do some damage, and also maybe even get some tumors. Gonna get 2 active tumors there, and we'll have to use another scan to get any more of them. With Supernova trying to get something done here. On the other hand, Lucky is kind of sitting back. He had his upgrades slightly ahead, does continue those. He has a 4th base going up now. He has a ton of Banelings with speed. He doesn't have a whole lot going on with his Mulus, but I feel he doesn't really have to right now. Combat shields are still not even complete as it is either.
Widow Mines are definitely an issue for him. That's why he waits for the Overseer to come in here. And of course the Overseer also benefiting from the speed upgrade for the Overlords, which is quite important if you play Mutalisks. You need to get that upgrade so that the Overseer is fast enough to keep up with them. +2/+2 started for Supernova here, and Lucky missing the 2nd attack upgrade. He's relying a lot on the Zerglings right now. We're now in the mid-game in this matchup where a lot depends on the unit control, especially from the Zerg player.
So many speed banelings. He hasn't taken any irrational engagements. You know, he's basically looking at this and saying, all right, I don't have to fight here. I've got a fourth. I'm just going to keep defending. I'll find some poke angles, like this one coming around here at the third base. No awareness here from Supernova. He has no idea. Now he's turning around a bit too late, and that's a ton of banelings rolling through. SVs stack up. They do get away on the other hand.
Yeah, that tank is gone, and now the banelings, it depends on the splits here from both players. Splits against the Mutalisk, against the banelings, and at the same time against the Widow Mines. Both players need to make sure that they don't lose too much of the area of effect damage of their opponent. A lot of missile turrets in the main base,
huge
actually.
Commitment. I think that was 5 turrets all stacked up together. Now they're gone, though, and the damage is being done. He doesn't even pull his SCVs. And Lings come back again to make sure this base is lifted once more.
Lucky trying to be very aggressive here, and Supernova, he thinks that offense is the best defense, moving out immediately, and that fourth base is something that Lucky will never be able to hold on to.
Not a whole lot of banelings here, just 2 with this army, and that's not going to be enough.
He can easily focus those.
These banelings on the other hand,
Oh my god!
Widow Mine shots there! Oh, and that one's going to get another one as well!
Oh, that was brutal.
That is game-changing right there.
And that's exactly what Supernova thinks as well. He's like, well, you don't have anything anymore. Doom drop in the main base. Deal with it.
That's basically like his entire army is now gone, and
lost all the base.
He's going to lose his lair. He's going to lose maybe the macro hatch as well. This actually may end the game.
Yeah, it might actually end the game. Like, the position for Lucky is now so bad. He lost everything with those 3 Widow Mines. They took down the entire army, the Zerglings, the Banelings, and now what can he do? The Zerglings, they're not enough. The drones moving in to fight another army, is taking down that third. This is definitely the GG here. This is the point where Lucky can try to hold on, but this is only a matter of time until Supernova is taking this win for Azubu.
2 upgrades almost done for Supernova here. Not the case for Lucky. He only has one of the upgrades complete. The other one's only halfway. Supernova has a trap set for him.
This is now a matter of time. I mean, Lucky is in the game right now, and he's not going to leave it for... good turrets. No, he doesn't see it.
I think he wants to use it on SCVs, which honestly I don't think is the right choice. Killing the army would have been much better for him here.
The problem really is the income right now for the Terran player is really good. We're 3 base against basically 2.5. That third base in the main not quite done. He has to kind of long distance mine with that macro hatch that he has. The upgrades are going to get better and better for the Terran player. Lucky needs really good moves.
He could bait him this time. He could bait them onto the
yes, and he does. That could actually change everything. Does a lot of damage, decent hit, but still so many Marines there.
Well executed bait though. Yeah. Very Lenok-esque.
Lucky needs something really big to come back in this match now. He can win it if Supernova makes a big mistake, but right now it's Supernova's match to lose.
And he's very aware of these Widow Mines now. Not going to let them take any more shots on him. 3 base against 3 base though still remains the problem with the Harvester count in favor of the Terran.
The problem just is this particular composition that Lucky plays scales so bad into the late game, and you usually want to make sure that in the mid game you do the damage. And with the snipe in the main base and all those units lost, Lucky lost the momentum that you need to maintain as a Zerg player in this scenario. You want to transition out, and Lucky can't do that. He can't transition out of it because he doesn't. He lost a lot of his army. He lost his momentum, and Supernova gained himself so much time that he can easily go up into 3-3. He has a much easier time to defend against his opponent in the mid game, and this is where Zerg is the strongest in the matchup. So Lucky is losing this a lot.
Yeah.
This is actually a nice move here, but still he might lose that hatch.
And he's losing a lot in the main base as well. Oh, this is
easily Widow Mines.
Easily dealt with the Widow Mines there. The hatchery on the other hand, the command center goes down, and there is a trap set here again. Does he know about it? I'm not so sure.
No, he doesn't know. But I actually feel he should have tried to repair at least a little bit. He kills those 2 Banelings. In the main base, still units doing damage. But to be quite honest with you, I feel Supernova should have tried to repair his command center there.
Oh, is that Widow Mine active? It looks like no, it's not. But that was really scary. 3-3 is very dangerously close to being finished, and even though the third command center did go down, he's got one to replace it, and I think this next wave might be too much. It might break Lucky's back. With all these Marines, the medevacs, he's got the support.
Yeah, it might break his back, but Supernova is making a couple of questionable choices. I get the idea of saving all your SCVs, but he could have left just a few behind to try and repair the command center. So he has to be careful right now, because if Lucky gets a couple of good hits here, well, he might be able to make something work, but he lost another base at the left side of the map, and this is just the momentum that I was talking about earlier. The 3-3 upgrades should be able to seal the deal for Supernova.
Absolutely. He killed a bunch of Banelings that were morphing. The 4th base, the only base that really has minerals, is not even mining.
There's still no lair.
There's no lair.
so he can never transition out. It's just losing this mid game where you are so strong as Zerg against Terran. This is kind of what the Terran has to really screw up to lose it after this.
Yeah.
But I love these Baneling traps. This is something that Lucky really does well, and he got a couple of really good engagements because of it.
You have to have you know, risks like this when you're behind, and Baneling landmines are one of the most cost-efficient risks. They're like the least risky thing you can do that can maybe get you something. Low risk, high reward, and no cancel there.
Yeah, it doesn't cancel it. He clicked on it several times. He has another command center in position that he can use. But yeah, the Mutalisks are the saving grace for Lucky right now. It's really what keeps him in the game a little bit longer. But the question is, what is he gonna do after this? Like, that 3-3 is now done.
I'd rather see him not kill the SCVs, but try to kill add-ons, try to kill depots, try to really wear him down, do permanent damage, not temporary damage, because killing the SCVs in the main where the patches are already almost gone, it's not as big of a deal.
And the funny thing is, though, that Supernova is the one who's currently just always on the run, from moving the main base, then the third.
Ouch.
Supernova has a bit of trouble to actually stabilize here.
Yeah, he can't seal the deal.
But I mean, he is so far ahead in this game. He has a 40 supply lead in against the Zerg player. The tech lead is incredible. His upgrades are so good. Think about how long the Zerg would need to get his 3-3 up. He needs to get the Infestation Pit, then the Hive Tech, and then the 3-3. I don't think... Is he even on 2-2 or is he on the...
I think he's on 2-1 still. No, 2-2 finished.
2-2 is done.
So, I mean, he doesn't have a Hive. It's definitely an uncomfortable position tech-wise for Lucky, but Supernova... He needs another base, I feel, because his natural's almost mined out.
Like, he did really well. The one thing that would have... These Widow Mines in the beginning, they were just game-changing, and without those Widow Mine hits, Supernova would have been in a very different spot. Lucky is still fighting. I mean, he is still going strong. He is very resilient in how he plays, and as mentioned before, especially with moves that we saw with the Burrowed Widow Mines, it's something that really makes it work for him. He's trying to kill those SCVs, once again getting close here. Another Widow Mine shot. Yeah, most of the Banelings are already gone, and that's an issue. He's trying to target down the command center.
If he gets the CC again, this
I don't
actually...
think so. Not this time. He's repairing this time. This time he's repairing.
Yeah, and there's also a scan. Doesn't lose anything, grows Baneling Mines. A turret kills another Muta.
And now it's a 60 supply lead.
And Lucky just does not have the gas to really keep up his Baneling production with replacing the Mutalisks. This base is under fire by a tiny group of Marines, almost every drone killed. And he even targets the hatch. He might get it. He actually is going to get it.
Yep, he's going to get it easy peasy.
Well, yep. Oh my god. Well, one more shot would have done it, but...
10 hit points!
He'll finish that off easily later, but... It's one small thing that Lucky still has going for him, at least. Good micro here against the Widow Mines. Take another hit there. There's just so much Widow Mine coverage that even with Overseers flying around, he's going to make mistakes.
It's only a 70 supply lead that we could... It is a 70 supply lead that we see for Supernova. I would really like him to kind of end it, though, to be quite honest with you. In games like this, I always have the feeling...
Oh my god. That was a great shot as well.
And another one.
How many drones died at the third base? That's what we need to ask.
I don't even know. But yeah,
one Marauder.
Hero Marauder.
Click on that Widow Mine.
I mean, you have Hero Marine casting here. That's Hero Marauder. He's going to join him soon. It's going to be the unbeatable combo.
We've got 58 SCVs to 36 drones. If you ever see those two numbers on the screen, you know that this is not your average game.
The army supply is absolutely insane. That's 100 against 49. As predicted earlier, Lucky tries to still stay in the game, but starting with those Widow Mine hits against his Banelings and Zerglings, and then with the Doom Drop in the main base, that could have been a little bit better by Supernova. Starting with those two moves, Lucky was kind of in a position where he could not hope to win the game unless Supernova makes big mistakes. And so far, Supernova struggles a little bit, but he's still in such a great position that I don't see him lose this game.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Oh, that was close. I mean, what Supernova's basically saying is, I'm so far ahead of you in economy that I'm just going to keep sniping your bases, I'm going to max out, and then I'll go kill you. I'm not going to leave anything up to chance. I know that your army will never beat mine, so I'm just going to kill your bases where your army's not. And that actually, the Widow Mine hit there not going so well for Supernova.
That Widow Mine took down more Marines than Zerglings.
Yep. Oh, got to be careful here, and the Widow Mine shot still goes off. Got in the threshold for just a bit too long. Well, that was weird, but as it turns out, the base survives.
Yeah, income is just another issue here. I mean, you can see the income at the top right. We have 500 minerals per minute right now for Lucky, whereas we have nearly 1,000 minerals for his opponent.
Supernova is starting to come a little bit low, though. He's going to need another base soon, eventually, because he has a lot of gas, but his minerals are running out, and at that moment, he could just walk across the map and maybe end it, because he just has that army supply that's double his opponent's.
He could definitely walk across the map, but I just think he's a little bit afraid of the Mutalisk just playing attack with him. So that's something that he probably tries to avoid. Another good Widowmine shot there, taking down Zerglings and Banelings alike.
Here we go. Here's the end push. He's got 10 medevacs with this army, and he's going to kill this base, and he's going to go all the way. There's no fourth base this time to fall back on.
He's going to go for the counter-aggression, lucky that is. He knows fully well that he cannot fight this. He's even dropping now into the main base Supernova because he knows that his army is so much bigger that he doesn't need his entire army to defend against Lucky here. The main base being attacked, there's just no income anymore, and there's the GG.
And this is looking really, really bad for FoU now because Supernova takes the game people were expecting, and now it's all up to Tassadar in a Protoss versus Protoss.
But to be honest with you, I would have loved to see this game without those 3 Widowmine shots in the early mid-game, because Lucky had some really good moves there. I love the burrowed Banelings that we saw every now and then, and just the way that Supernova was struggling after that to really just seal the deal and end the game took him a lot longer than I expected it. But as we said earlier, if you lose this force in the mid-game and then also your lair, the entire part of the game where you are strong in the matchup is just gone. And that leaves the Terran player in a position where he has so much time to go into 3-3, get the perfect army out there. He has a really good income. So the late game is going to be so much stronger for a Terran than it already would be. So that was kind of what killed Lucky there. Even though he didn't die right away, but at this point it was already obvious. If Supernova doesn't mess up big time, he has the game.
So, I mean, imagine, like you said, I think that's a really good point. In the end of the game, Supernova struggled, despite the fact that he was up like 100 army supply, still struggling to, or 100 total supply, still struggling to finish the game. Imagine if Lucky is left to go like on his own, and he's actually doing toe-to-toe with him. There's no weird advantage that Supernova got. And then he's like running all over the place and doing Widowmine, or killing Widowmine, sniping them, burrow Banelings, got the Mutas always doing counterattacks, and he's got more Mutas, and he's got more Banelings to deal with.
There were a couple of things where I feel that Supernova was just a little bit too confident. For example, losing that command center twice, not cancelling it at the second time was definitely a mistake. He already saw it would die. Then letting it die in the first place at the first time. The second time he had to lift, he actually pulled a couple of the SCVs back to repair, and I think he just forgot about that the first time, or maybe even thought that the army would be there in time to defend it. Then we had him struggling a little bit against the Mutalisk. They took down 5 turrets in the main base. He never started to rebuild them because he started to drop a little bit low in the mineral income. So a few steps there where Lucky was doing great job, always putting aggression on that third base and the main, but he lost that important mid-game where Zerg with Legion Muta Baneling is so strong, and the transition was never possible for him. He couldn't transition out into Hive Tech.
Oh, we're going to take a look at the replay, and this is the Widowmine shots we talked about.
Yeah.
Boom.
Bam.
Almost all the Banelings dead there. The second wave hits, he wastes Banelings on it. And then this one kills the last of the Banelings, only leaves a few Zerglings left.
That was game-changing, and right away after this, Supernova goes for the Doom drop. Supernova had his army already in position, but then he sees those 2 shots, and he's like, well, I'm just going to drop in your main.
What are you going to do? You don't have any Banelings left. Why would you? I killed so many. If you have any more Banelings, then you spend a lot more gas than you actually have to spend. So that was... those types of situations are why Widowmines can be just so terrifying to a Zerg player and so frustrating, because even though he had the Overseer there, it just lagged behind a little bit too much, and you got to be really, really careful about how you move your Overseers around the map.
I actually think he A-moved the army. I do not think that he saw
Definitely
the Widowmines.
not.
They will probably not envision when he was there, and there was also, I think his 4th base was just attacked and taken out, and that was the point where Supernova just lifted into the Medivacs and moved in, so he must have been focusing on the army and just looking at that and thinking, okay, I have to retreat with a few of my units, probably A-move, and then the Overlords saw that, and the Widowmines ran in.
To be honest, I was not impressed with Supernova's micro. Like, he got a lot of Widowmine shots, and whenever there was a fight with Banelings where he wasn't going to be able to win it straight up, he just ran away. He never really split his Marines. We never really got to see a ton of good micro out of him.
What I liked was his burrow Widowmines in general. Like, he scattered them all across the map. Right at the beginning, we already saw that. But I know what you mean. Like, a couple of the splits that he saw, even with the Doom drop in the main bases, could have done so much more than he did.
Yeah, he just ran away instead.
He did a lot of damage there. He took down the lair, but I feel he could have maybe even ended the game. And he also missed taking out that third base. So he did the damage that he needed to do on the other hand.
He basically just said, like, I'm not going to split. I'm just going to have Widowmines everywhere. Instead, I've got a lead. Going on here, though, we have Tassadar, who's lost all 5 of his most recent 5 GSTL matches. I think we go further back than that. You can probably go up to like at least 10 lost matches in a row. And Choya is looking at this with that look on his face of, well, it's up to Tastar now, and I haven't been able to rely on him yet. So this is actually Tastar's moment, really. If he wins this, then almost everything that he messed up in the past could be forgotten for at least the rest of the day, because nobody is expecting him to win this game. It's a Protoss versus Protoss, though, against Patience, somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience, who also has lost 4 of his 5 most recent GSTL matches. So if this is a game Tastar is going to win, he's got a much better chance, almost like 1,000 times better chance of winning against Patience here than he did against Bomber last week, for example. So this needs to be Tastar's moment. If he only wins 1 game this season, 1 game this year, this is the one to win. He absolutely needs it. His team needs it right now. FOU is in such a dire position in the standings. They're at risk of not making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, Lucky not too happy, by the way, here about the last game. You could really see they're a bit frustrated. Those Widow Mine hits doing number on him. And Tassadar in this matchup, as we already said, not really all successful this season. He lost against Dian, against Hurricane. Won against MC in the preseason, but that was a long time ago, nearly a year ago, not quite. But yeah, Patience on the other hand, with losses to Trap and Crank, one against Seed. Both of them with a 33% win ratio in the matchup. Offline, that is. So that's going to be an important game. As you already said, Tesla has to win it. If not for that, then Azubu has already won the entire team match.
Yeah. Frost is the map. And, you know, this is my favorite map in the pool. But it's Protoss versus Protoss. So what I expect is actually Tastar not being aggressive, because this is PvP on a big 4-player map. And I know everyone's out there saying, what? It's Tastar. He's going to definitely do an aggressive build. I think he's not. And this game will be decided by a late-game micro decision, where the third base is the contention point. Because we saw the Bridges of Doom to the north and the south. If that becomes a contention point, Colossi, Archons, Charged Zealots going down that place is going to be... It's a death trap. It really is. It's just waiting for a big engagement to go wrong for one player or the other. It's going to be all about that late-game micro.
Well, right now we're going to jump into the game, ladies and gentlemen. It might be the last one of the day. Tassadar is up against Patience at the GSTL Season 2 2013. Brought to you by Colin Wolf.